what would your Jeopardy category be then? What's your expertise? I want to give equal opportunity.
Oh, I'm not an expert at anything. I know a couple things here and there.
Blake Lively, long praised as one of Hollywood's most charming actresses, now finds herself at the center of a legal firestorm that has Tinsel Town buzzing. A judge's recent decision turned everything upside down, sending shockwaves through the celebrity circuit and sparking heated debates online. But how did a seemingly perfect star get dragged into such an ugly legal quagmire? And why is her husband, Ryan Reynolds, right in the thick of it, or perhaps missing in action when she needs him most? From rumors of behind-the-scenes blacklisting to alleged meltdowns and desperate courtroom strategies, this story has it all. Tensions flared the moment a judge slapped down Blake's sweeping demands as stupid, leaving her team speechless and the entire gallery reeling. Even more chilling, a rumored live audio feed of the upcoming hearing threatens to expose every dirty detail to the public. And that's not to mention the leaked tapes implicating influential insiders in a possible smear campaign. It seems the deeper we dig, the more secrets come to light. Prepare to witness Blake Lively's pristine reputation on the brink, as her once fairy tale image collides with harsh legal realities. Will she rebound from the blow, or has Hollywood's golden girl finally met her match? Keep watching, because each new discovery raises more questions about the allegations themselves, about Ryan Reynolds' vanishing support, and about the powerful forces fueling this unrelenting drama. The moment everyone realized this wasn't going to be another run-of-the-mill lawsuit came when Judge Louis Lyman delivered a brutal blow to Blake Lively's legal team. Days before a hearing that was supposed to clear the air, rumors were already swirling that her attorneys had something big planned. Whispers hinted at new evidence that would supposedly obliterate Justin Baldoni's defense, painting him as a manipulative co-star who orchestrated an extensive smear campaign against Blake. Her supporters rejoiced online, certain that the actress was about to drop a bomb. The hearing started with typical legal formalities, but the atmosphere felt tense. Observers, including Hollywood journalists, hovered around the courtroom eager for the scoop of a lifetime. Then, the judge picked up Blake's application for a protective order, one that demanded access to wide-ranging private information from Baldoni and his PR agents. He read it aloud with a stunned expression, paused, and then proceeded to dismantle each point as overly broad, intrusive, and most shockingly, legally baseless. Witnesses claimed you could hear a pin drop. Blake's expressions reportedly shifted from confident to confused, then into sheer disbelief. Suddenly, the pre-hearing buzz fizzled. Even journalists found themselves tongue-tied, uncertain how to spin a development so stark and so humiliating. The judge's verdict was a resounding no to the bulk of her demands. The kicker? Instead of walking away with a treasure trove of personal data spanning years, Blake and her team got a narrow 4-month window of data from Baldoni's files, nowhere near the mother lode of calls, emails, and location details they originally wanted. Word spread like wildfire that the judge all but called the request stupid, as if scolding a rookie attorney for not knowing the boundaries of legal discovery. Online, commentators reacted with shock and skepticism. Why would Blake's team even think they could pry into 2 years' worth of personal records over an alleged smear campaign said to have started just months prior? The popular theory was that they were fishing for dirt, any dirt, to weaponize in the public eye. But it backfired spectacularly, leaving the actress reeling. The public learned the hard way that not even Hollywood's brightest stars can muscle their way through the judicial system unscathed. What made it worse was the near-immediate meltdown that reportedly followed. Onlookers swore they saw Blake whispering furiously to her lawyers, eyes darting around the courtroom as though searching for a quick exit. The scale of her shock was undeniable. The game plan that was set to deliver a crushing blow to Baldoni suddenly looked more like a self-inflicted disaster. But that wasn't the whole story. Something else was happening behind the scenes, something that would soon turn the case on its head and force everyone to question the real motives driving the legal war. In the immediate aftermath of the judge's rejection, an almost tangible tension lingered in the air. Blake Lively's frustration had apparently boiled over to the point that she was seen flustered, occasionally raising her voice in hushed tones. Her meltdown, according to multiple accounts, was not the typical, controlled expression of disappointment celebrities often display. It was raw, unscripted anger. What triggered that reaction was more than just a lost motion. Blake's legal team had bet heavily on convincing the court that they needed every conceivable piece of Baldoni's personal information to prove their case. Their rationale? They claim Baldoni's alleged smear campaign went further and lasted longer than the public realized. They insisted that if they only had full access to his phone records, email exchanges, and location data, they would unveil a shocking tapestry of manipulations orchestrated by him and his associates. But the judge called out the entire logic as absurd. If the smear campaign started in mid-2024, why demand phone records dating 2 years back, covering times when Baldoni and Lively hadn't even interacted professionally? The question stumped Blake's team. Some speculate they hoped to catch Baldoni off guard with unrelated personal dirt, anything to tarnish his credibility in the court of public opinion. Right after the hearing, Blake's PR people rushed to spin the situation as a strategic maneuver, a minor setback in a grand plan. But for many in the legal community, the meltdown spoke volumes. Was Blake simply ill-prepared for a negative ruling, or was she starting to doubt her own case? Her critics seized this moment to brand her a hypocrite, especially given that she'd appeared on talk shows just weeks earlier, cracking jokes and mocking Baldoni's legal challenges. Now she was demanding silence and secrecy from the court. And then there's the biggest accusation swirling online, that she's not just reacting to Baldoni's legal pushback, but also using every trick in the book to keep certain skeletons in the closet. Skeletons that may have nothing to do with the alleged harassment or smear campaign. If her meltdown suggests panic, it might be because she's afraid of what might come tumbling out if the case proceeds. Yeah, the meltdown was only the tip of the iceberg. Blake's legal approach suddenly looked haphazard, and onlookers suspected she was flailing. Would she change her strategy now that the judge had rejected her broad demands? Or would she double down and risk looking even more unreasonable? The jury, both figuratively and literally, was still out. Behind the scenes, rumors circulated that her meltdown wasn't just about the subpoena fiasco. Some insisted she and her husband had locked horns over how best to handle this scandal. Which brings us to the next major twist. Where was Ryan Reynolds? No Hollywood couple has ridden the wave of public adoration quite like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Fans adore their lighthearted banter on social media. Magazines can't get enough of their red carpet flirtations. They've been seen as a golden couple, two witty, photogenic stars who never seem to have a single misstep. But in this lawsuit's darkest hour, Ryan Reynolds was conspicuously absent. His usual presence, be it standing proudly by Blake's side or offering up some brand of comedic relief, was nowhere to be found in the courtroom debacle. Observers found it odd. Wasn't he the supportive husband? Why hadn't he delivered one of his trademark biting one-liners to lighten the mood? Speculation raged. Some argued that Ryan was distancing himself to shield his personal brand. After all, he's a comedic powerhouse, a bankable star with a superhero franchise that thrives on irreverent humor and universal appeal. Others thought he might be quietly managing damage control from behind the scenes, avoiding the sort of public meltdown that could further entangle him in Blake's drama. Still others believed the tension in their marriage had escalated over how to handle the crisis. A swirl of unverified chatter claimed Ryan was blindsided by how far Blake's team had pushed for personal information and how humiliating the rejection turned out to be. According to these whispers, he'd wanted a more careful, less confrontational approach, fearing that an explosive meltdown would destroy not just her reputation, but his as well. Then there's the wildest rumor of all, that Ryan orchestrated a silent retreat, a strategy to protect both of them. By removing himself from the forefront, he could later claim plausible deniability if the fiasco grew even worse. If Blake's meltdown spirals into a permanent smear on their household name, Ryan might quietly reemerge as the calm center, a spouse who tried to help but chose not to feed the public spectacle. To some fans, none of this is surprising. Ryan's comedic persona might not mesh well with serious legal drama. Still, the sudden shift from unwavering public support to near radio silence was jarring. Whatever his reasons, his choice to lie low fanned the flames of speculation. And when an ex-CIA operative enters the picture, eyebrows only arch higher. Just when court drama and marital tension seemed juicy enough, more revelations hit the scene, this time implicating the shady underbelly of Hollywood's power brokers. A leaked audio recording featuring Ari Emanuel, a major industry heavyweight, has been making the rounds. In it, Emanuel seemingly references Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in connection with the firing, or as some say, blacklisting, of Justin Baldoni. For those outside the industry, Ari Emanuel is often viewed as a real-life model for cutthroat Hollywood agents. He's known to maneuver deals for top-tier talent and to have the ear of powerful studio heads. The leaked clip includes him complaining about Baloney, Baldwin, whatever his name is, then dropping not-so-subtle hints that he pulled the plug on Baldoni's opportunities after direct pressure from certain A-listers. While it's never spelled out on orders from Blake and Ryan, the context left little room for doubt. The public's reaction was mixed. Some refused to believe Sweet, relatable Blake Lively could be so conniving as to sabotage another star's career. Others argued that power couples in Hollywood often flex their influence to quiet perceived threats, and that this is just business as usual. If a star with Blake's likability can turn so ruthless, what does that say about an industry that prides itself on carefully curated public images? It took no time for a hashtag Blake exposed to trend, with users debating how complicit Ryan was. The couple's rags-to-riches love story, once so admired, suddenly looked like a facade built to shield cutthroat ambitions. Detractors cited this as proof that the real Blake Lively is nothing like the warm persona she sells on screen and on social media. In response to the avalanche of speculation, Blake's reps tried to downplay the recording as misleading. They suggested Emmanuel's remarks were taken out of context or exaggerated. Yet, the damage was already done. People who had defended Blake in the past began questioning their stance. The burning question: if they indeed had a hand in pushing Justin Baldoni to the sideline, what else might they have manipulated? But that wasn't the only explosive revelation. Court documents suggest that an upcoming live audio broadcast of a hearing might confirm or deny many of these allegations. The entire saga could soon play out in real time for the public, a twist that could either vindicate Blake and Ryan or bury their reputations for good. In a case already churning with intrigue, the next twist raised eyebrows even further. Multiple outlets began reporting that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had enlisted the help of Nick Shapiro, a former CIA deputy chief of staff known for mastering crisis management at the highest levels of government. The mere mention of CIA connections catapulted the legal dispute into conspiracy theory territory. Why would Hollywood celebrities need an ex-intelligence officer to handle a defamation and harassment suit? Conventional wisdom says a standard publicist or crisis PR firm could handle the fallout. Hiring Shapiro, who reportedly managed sensitive national security communications, signaled a willingness to play hardball in ways average Hollywood spin doctors might not. Critics jumped on the story, labeling it an admission of guilt. They argued that only someone with deep pockets and something massive to hide would hire an expert well-versed in hush-hush intelligence tactics. Proponents, however, insisted it was a savvy move. If your reputation is on the line in a high-stakes, high-visibility lawsuit, why not bring in the best? Shapiro's rumored track record of gaslighting the public added more fuel to the controversy. Some pointed to major political dramas where he allegedly helped craft narratives that later proved inaccurate. So, the idea of him swooping in to salvage Blake and Ryan's images was easy to spin as further evidence they'd do anything to control the story. Suddenly, the star couple's legal strategy looked like a full-blown operation, complete with spin cycles, top-secret communications, and rumored intimidation tactics. Conspiracy buffs online began calling them a Hollywood power axis, unstoppable unless the law stepped in. And what does it say about a couple who once joked about cooking at home with their kids, but now appear to be orchestrating covert alliances behind closed doors? As these rumors caught fire, everything from CIA infiltration of the entertainment world to hush-hush deals with journalists came under the microscope. Some of the theories sound outlandish, but given the recent swirl of revelations, the line between fact and speculation is more blurred than ever. The big takeaway: Blake Lively's fight isn't just with Justin Baldoni anymore. She's battling public perception and maybe even her own carefully cultivated persona. For a long time, Blake Lively enjoyed a squeaky clean reputation. She was the actress who dazzled on red carpets, skillfully navigated interviews with grace, and championed various philanthropic causes. Her social media presence, punctuated by playful digs at her husband, endeared her to millions. She was the relatable star who balanced glamour with an appealing sense of humor. But now, the tide seems to have turned. Ever since news broke that her subpoena demands were slapped down, critics online have grown more vocal. Hypocrite is the word that keeps popping up, fueled by the fact that Blake once said she hated celebrity drama and oversharing, only to launch a legal strategy that pries into her opponent's every personal detail. Pop culture commentators dissect old interviews, searching for any red flags they might have missed. Some even revived a few of her earliest roles, suggesting she manipulated co-stars to score better screen time, a claim that hasn't been substantiated but gained traction in the rumor mill. While Blake's loyal fans remain steadfast, defending her every step, large swaths of the internet are rebranding her as a cunning manipulator. Skeptics argue that she cultivated a down-to-earth image to mask a relentless ambition. Others suggest her meltdown in court is living proof that she can't handle not getting her way. Suddenly, every snippet of her past behavior feels ripe for reinterpretation. Where does this leave the couple? If public sentiment keeps swinging against Blake, the personal toll could be devastating. Her once pristine brand is now entangled in a labyrinth of litigation, hush-hush deals, and a growing list of people calling her manipulative. Yet the biggest mystery remains. What else might come to light if the case drags on? With a promised live audio feed of the next hearing, it feels like we're only scratching the surface of a story that could reshape how fans view one of Hollywood's most adored power couples. Just when you think the saga has reached peak intensity, new tidbits emerge from unnamed insiders, adding more confusion. Some hint that Justin Baldoni has undisclosed evidence that could demolish every claim Blake makes. Others insist that Blake's meltdown only scratches the surface of her efforts to keep damaging secrets hidden. Court insiders speak of sealed documents that, if made public, might spark an even larger scandal implicating other industry players. Paparazzi shots show Blake and Ryan at their home, guardedly avoiding questions. A small detail from one photo triggered an online frenzy. Blake appeared to be on a conference call, gesturing emphatically while Ryan quietly observed from the other side of the room. Could it be an urgent scramble with their new ex-CIA crisis manager? Or was she hashing out new strategies with attorneys after the judge's humiliating denial? The speculation runs rampant. The question looms, how far is Blake Lively willing to go to keep her secrets under wraps? She already attempted the extraordinary measure of subpoenaing everything from phone bills to potential Jeep's data. She enlisted top-tier crisis managers, possibly even encouraging hush-hush negotiations with major media outlets. Will she resort to settlement talks with Baldoni just to avoid further embarrassment? Then there's the looming date of that next court session. With a live audio feed set to broadcast the proceedings, fans and critics alike eagerly await a front-row seat to the meltdown that could become the final nail in her legal coffin, or an unexpected twist that somehow redeems her story. It's the ultimate must-listen event, where everything from star credibility to established Hollywood power dynamics could be upended in real time. Amid all the swirling chaos, many wonder if the lawsuit itself has become secondary to the bigger question. Is this scandal a fleeting glitch for a famously beloved star, or is it the unmasking of a carefully constructed image? It feels like the entire world is waiting to see which side will crumble first, Baldoni's defense or Blake's shiny reputation. One thing is certain, the revelations have barely begun. The Blake Lively saga started as a routine lawsuit, pivoting around allegations of harassment and a so-called smear campaign. But it spiraled into a labyrinth of power plays, leaked audio, ex-CIA fixers, and heated courtroom drama. Each step exposed new layers of conflict, from the alleged blacklisting orchestrated by Hollywood titans to the meltdown that threatened to destroy Lively's carefully polished persona. The upcoming hearing, especially with live audio, might be the turning point. If the rumors are true, evidence could emerge that sends shockwaves through the film industry, implicating not just Lively, but others who operate behind the red carpet glam. Whether that leads to a broader reckoning, or simply a fleeting media craze remains to be seen. Yet, for many viewers, the case already raises troubling concerns about the lengths celebrities will go to when faced with potential damage to their image. We expect our stars to be relatable, kind, and sometimes even moral compasses for fans. But behind closed doors, deals are made, alliances shift, and PR machines spin. This lawsuit is a window into how far that machine can and will go to protect its own. What happens if Blake Lively loses? Could Ryan Reynolds, rumored to be exasperated with the fiasco, quietly step away and salvage his own brand? Or will he rush back into the spotlight, offering a united front in an effort to muzzle critics and staunch the bleeding reputations? More importantly, what about Justin Baldoni? If he truly is the victim of a smear campaign, will he reclaim his standing in Hollywood, or will the powers that be continue to shut him out? Only time will reveal the real motivations and alliances hidden beneath this high-stakes legal drama. But one truth stands clear. The days of simply trusting a star's wholesome image are all but gone. We have front row seats to a cautionary tale about the precarious intersection of fame, power, and the legal system. Stick around as this story evolves, because something tells us that more twists are inevitable, and each new revelation might be even more shocking than the last.